It was a warm and sunny day by the Sea of Galilee, and many people had gathered to hear Jesus speak. He stood near the water, sharing stories that helped everyone understand how much God loves them. His words were gentle and wise, and the crowd listened closely. Jesus healed those who were sick and smiled at the children who came near. As the day went on, he began to feel tired from all the teaching and helping. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with orange and pink, Jesus turned to his disciples and said, "Let's go to the other side of the lake." The disciples helped him into a small wooden boat and pushed off from the shore. The water was calm and the breeze was soft as they sailed into the evening. Jesus found a cushion and lay down to rest. Soon he was fast asleep, peaceful and still. The boat gently rocked as it moved across the quiet lake, and the stars began to twinkle above. The disciples talked quietly among themselves, enjoying the peaceful night. Everything felt calm and safe, and the journey seemed easy. Jesus continued to sleep, resting after a long day of caring for others. But far away, dark clouds were beginning to gather. Suddenly, the sky turned dark, and the wind began to blow harder and harder. Waves rose up and crashed against the boat, splashing water everywhere. Lightning flashed across the sky, and thunder roared loudly. The peaceful night had turned into a wild and frightening storm. The disciples held on to the boat, trying not to fall into the water. The disciples were scared and didn't know what to do. They tried to steer the boat and keep it from sinking, but the storm was too strong. Water poured into the boat, and they shouted to each other in fear. All the while, Jesus was still asleep, calm and quiet, even as the storm raged around him. Finally, the disciples rushed to wake him up. "Jesus, don't you care if we drown?" they cried out, their voices full of fear. Jesus opened his eyes and looked around at the storm and his frightened friends. He stood up slowly, not afraid at all. The wind howled and the waves crashed, but Jesus remained calm. He knew exactly what to do. Jesus raised his hand and spoke in a strong, peaceful voice. "Peace, be still." At once, the wind stopped blowing and the waves settled down. The rain faded away and the clouds disappeared from the sky. The sea became calm again, as if the storm had never happened. Everything was quiet and still. The disciples were amazed and could hardly believe what they had just seen. They looked at Jesus with wide eyes and whispered, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." They had seen Jesus heal people and teach with wisdom, but now they saw his power over nature. They realized he was truly the Son of God. Their hearts were filled with wonder. Jesus looked at his friends with kindness and asked, "Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith?" He wasn't angry. He wanted them to learn to trust him. Even in the middle of a storm, Jesus was with them. He had the power to bring peace and safety. The disciples were quiet, thinking deeply about what they had learned. The boat sailed gently to the other side of the lake, and the disciples stepped onto the shore. The storm was gone, and the sky was bright again. They felt safe and thankful to be with Jesus. That night had changed them forever. They would always remember how Jesus calmed the storm. Sometimes, life feels like a storm. We get scared, confused, or feel alone. But just like the disciples, we can call out to Jesus. He may not stop every storm right away, but he will always be with us and calm our hearts. When we trust him, we find peace even in the middle of the waves.